It is probably the single most important mathematical idea of all. The notion of proof by circle and line or ruler and compass construction means that geometry can be known about in a way that is different from knowing about physical things, and so makes geometry epistemically differentiated. Furthermore, starting from circles and lines alone and constructing a relationship using circles and lines alone makes the conclusions certain in a way that nothing else was at the time. In geometric reasoning, the argument and the conclusions were made supremely clear and evident to the senses. Indeed, the concept of proof, a mechanism that gave a warrant for claiming geometry to be perfectly and absolutely true, made geometry the very paradigm of what we mean true and certain knowledge to be. In effect, in our understanding of nature, true means true like geometry is true.
Come go with me. Open your mind. Was all I ever knew. Finding the knowledge of the real world starts with the point of which has no parts. These are the axioms of life.
True.
And I take my chances with the old ways, finding the proofs in geometry.
Perfect.
I don't care what all the sophists say. I find the proofs in reality. They were right.
We call this
We know that they were right.
true. We call this proof. Like geometry is true.
Starting with circles and lines alone, constructing the nature of what's known.
We call this proof.
Conclusions are clear and the evidence seen. This 3D space works perfectly. And I'll take my chances with the old ways, finding the proofs in geometry. And I don't care what all the sophists say. I find the proofs in reality.
Geometry is true. Perfect. Absolutely.
And all around you is sinking sand. You have a place on which to stand. Foundations were already built for you.
Absolutely true.
Open your mind. And I'll take my chances with the older ways, hearing the words of what the ancients said. They say my words sound like sorcery, but there's wisdom in all honesty.
True.
Come go with me. Open your mind. Come go with me. We'll find the truth.
Absolutely true.
And we are live. Welcome everybody. It is Friday. Free for all Friday. Welcome. As always, it's Friday, so anybody can free to come on in to Discord. Just click on the link. Come and join us. Have a conversation. Tell us about what you want. I've had most of the week for going over the stuff I'm talking about, so this is for everybody else today. Free for all. I will go over the dogma that's being laid down by F.E. Dogma and his twin tangent thing, because he doesn't seem to think. Well, actually, I've got some. Let me see. I've got Blue Marble's been chatting as well, and he's just sent me a in great big comment like he does. He writes essays and all sorts. Let me see. I think it was this one. Okie dokie. Right, let me get this on for you guys in Discord so you can see it. We'll go over a couple more comments and we go there. You guys can see this over here. Right now, obviously, this isn't about the FE Dogma one. We can get around to that in a bit. This is Blue Marble. And he's going over the stuff we went over last night. Right now, I think I've found another contradiction. But I don't know. We'll see how good the Blue Marble scientific method is. And how good the scientific, well, the mathematical obfuscation team does. So here we go. This is what I think I've found and shown everybody over the past few days. You might have missed it. Give you a chance to have a look at it for yourself. But Larry Scott and Jesse Kozlowski and the guy that may or may not live in Maine teamed up to do a I think it's on Jesse Kozlowski's YouTube channel, where Larry did it. He said, I think it was called Measuring the Radius of the Earth Without Angles. And he said they were on a straight line, right? So there's 3 points on a straight line. So that's collinear. Okay, so but that's what we did. We went over that. But we also went over Jesse Kozlowski saying that he had 3 coplanar points over Lake Rickier, Pontchartrain, which Blue Marble's actually done a video of. So Blue Marble's done a video, the one where he had an internal tangent plane, because they're very good at explaining this mathematically. Blue Marble's going to make a video about all of this. So wait until that comes out. We might be able to go over it. So he says, Larry Scott said the 3 points they used to measure Earth curvature, radius, with the title, the video was titled Measuring the Radius, were a section of a great circle. And you guys tried to say later that he said they were collinear. Do the Next Level server members know how to do anything other than lie? Well, did I say that Larry said they were on a straight line? And it is a straight line collinear. Is that okay?
Collinear, it means laying
on a straight line.
Straight line, yeah.
Okay, so let me see. Because we've got a guy in the chat in that comment section. It's called A Fly on the Wall. Now, A Fly on the Wall has put a comment in this chat here.
Those 3 points are in a straight line. But you notice the distance.
Did you hear that?
Hagerstown, Titanic, New York, and Lakefield. Those 3 points are in a straight line.
Those 3 points are in a straight line. Did everybody hear that? I don't know whether it came through. This is on Jesse Kozlowski's channel. And we went over it the other night. A Fly on the Wall did actually pull that out for us. So thank you very much. If anybody does that, please put a timestamp on it and put all of the comments in the, in the video. If you spot anything, any paralogisms, anything that I do, any mistakes that anybody makes, please just timestamp it and put it in the video, right? the more of this stuff we get to go over, the better it is. So that was, thank you very much, Fly on the Wall. So that was the bit there, right? So Larry Scott said the 3 points they used to measure Earth curvature were a section of a great circle. You've just heard him. He said it was in a straight line. So when I said Larry Scott said that they're in a straight line, it's because Larry Scott said that they're in a straight line. That's why I said it. Nobody's lying, Blue. Misrepresenting people and not checking it. I think this... Oh, Fly on the Wall put the comment after Blue Marble did his one. So Blue didn't actually go over the video. He didn't go over Jesse Kozlowski's video to make sure that Larry didn't say that. Because Larry obviously did say it. Everybody's just heard it. So I say, Jesse Kozlowski says he uses 3 coplanar points to do your 90-foot hump measurements. It seems like your mates have contradictory methods. One using a circle and the other one using a plane. Sort them out, Blue. Well, it isn't actually. He didn't use a circle, did I? I might have tricked him saying that. But he didn't use a circle. He used a straight line. So what Jesse Kozlowski used 3 coplanar points and Larry Scott used 3 points in a straight line. Almost as if they're pretty much the same. Somebody else has to bend them somewhere because both of these two guys have said it's a straight line. So maybe it might be Blue Marble that's got the contradiction. He's maybe not just hearing what they say. So Blue Marble comes back with, oh, wow, look at this, look at it. All because I said that he did a straight line, right? So now you've got to remember that Larry Scott did say a straight line and Jesse Kozlowski did say 3 coplanar points. So we've got 3 collinear points and 3 coplanar points. Both of them finding some sort of a radius to a straight line on a plane. This is new modern day mathematics of the Blue Marble science. So Blue's going to try and explain it. He tells you he's going to make a video, right? You're the guy that needs sorting out, me. Jesse clearly identified the 3 points at each end of the bridge, that's 2, and the origin of the ECFE system. No. He got 1 from the middle of the bridge. He said that. His 3 points, 1 at each end of the bridge, 1 in the middle. That's 3 coplanar points. That makes 3. But he didn't he say 1 in the middle? I don't know whether I'm going to have to go over this one as well, Blue, but I mean, let me see if I got that video. Should I should really bring that video up now, shouldn't I? Really just nip it in the butt. Let's have a look. I'll go back to Discord for a bit. Anybody else want to have a bit of a chat while I'm just trying to find this? Because I'm going to have to find the video and actually get it up for watching and find where he says it.
Yeah, I can go over that thing I was talking about with the latest sophistry.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so this is the latest. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so this is the latest discussion going on concerning gravity. So believe it or not, this is what their model says. Their model says if you jump up, when you're not actually falling down, when you fall down, it's actually the Earth that is falling up to meet you. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what the fantasy model says. So bear with me.
Weren't they taking the piss out of that? I'm pretty sure, was it? Where did I hear that?
But it means that if you are jumping, you are not jumping, but the Earth is going down. So this Earth is going, is jumping down first and then up.
It's crazy. I know. This is all fantasy. Like, let's make clear we're not believing this. We're just saying what the talk is and what the model says. So, yeah, believe, as crazy as that sounds, that's what they say. So when you jump up, as you're going down, it's not you that's going down, it's the Earth that goes up. So the question put forward to them is this: in their fantasy globe, if one person is at the North Pole and one person is at the South Pole, and they both jump at the same time, when they fall down in their model, that in their fantasy model, when they fall down, they're not actually falling down. It's the ground that's falling up.
The Earth
So
is conflating.
you picked it off right away.
So the longer they jump, the bigger the Earth is.
It's like inflating like a balloon. Is that what you're saying, Paper?
Yeah, no, it has to be.
Exactly. It has to be. So now, good on you. You picked that off right away. It's pretty obvious, right? It has to be like a balloon effect. But what they're saying is, no, that's not what's happening. Because of relativity. They're saying that it's not actually, like it's happening, but it's not actually happening. So I'm trying to tell them, do you see the paradox in this here statement? And no, it's not paradoxical. You don't understand relativity and so on and so forth. So this is what's up for debate today. This is what we're talking about. And not just today, it's been going on for a couple of days, actually.
Where did I hear the going up?
That's I've posted a couple of memes on that with, what's that German scientist's name? Michelle Hoffenheffer. I always get her name. My apologies. I always get her name
Didn't
wrong.
he say it as well? What's his face? It's the Ream guy. What's he?
I would say that originally it is, I think, flat Earth society idea that the Earth, this disk, is constantly accelerating up.
Yeah, that's where I heard it, right? Yeah. Somebody said that that's what they were saying flat earthers were thinking.
No,
a few years
guys.
back. I'm pretty
No,
sure.
this is the standard model. This is what they believe. This is one of the top scientists that says it. I even have her on video. I have a meme on it.
I'm pretty sure that I've heard people taking the piss out of flat earthers thinking that.
Well, I had an argument with a few ballers today, and they were all on board with that.
Yeah,
None of them disputed it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you're not exactly talking to the cream of the crop here, right? Now, if you start to believe that this is some sort of a thing, and then you go out there and start telling people that that's what the scientific thing is, and if it's not right, I don't know. I mean, I think there are a lot of people in this arena and the discussions in it are fed in and made up by the people that are in it.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure as Paper picked off right away, he thought of a balloon right away. So I'm sure any logical
says
person...
that's a flat earth society thing.
Yeah.
Going upwards. So these guys have got you to think, or whether it is, I mean, I don't know, that it, like, how have they managed to flip what was a flat earth society bullshit thing into what is necessary on their model?
Well, the scientists must be in cahoots because I clearly heard one of the leading scientists say it. Clearly, those words came out of her mouth.
So it means that they are utilizing this bullshit on both sides, I
Yes,
think.
yes. Ask any baller
Wow.
that you talk to.
Yeah, that is though. They're setting up their scientific plays of the future by ridiculing flat earthers with something in the. Wonder whether they'll say sorry.
I doubt it.
Or maybe it is the Flat Earth Society. Maybe the Flat Earth Society is this globe thing. Allows them to have the conversations. Who knows? Because if that's what you're saying, I mean, that does sound like the Flat Earth Society thing. And if the Flat Earth Society thing has become mainstream science... That is interesting.
Yep. Definitely the scientists are talking about it and agreeing with it, and that's the model.
Well, we all know it is globe. And some pretty weird shit happens on that thing. I can tell you. We're counting the contradictions. There's loads of them. Let me just see if I can find this. Jesse Kozlowski, 3 coplanar
software and what I'm trying to create. And I hope that's coming through. Again, if anybody knows how to do animation, I don't have that skill set, but I could do a coordinate
Maybe
transformation.
Globbers were jealous that flat shit has its own stupid
And
ideas.
somebody,
And
I haven't read the whole thing.
now we have to do the same. We cannot be worse than them. Let's invent our own.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a bullshit argument. We could keep people discussing it for ages. What ifs?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, how can you tell the difference? You can't tell the difference of whether it's, that's one of those things, isn't it? That sounds very modern day science to me, that.
Thing yet, but he is talking about.
Here we go. I think I found it here.
And somebody, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but he is talking about computing the radius of the Earth using this bridge. So, and so it's interesting. I'm going to take a look at this. I'm just showing you a couple portions of it. But look what I did here. I
can still see a section. The old one.
Okay. Oh, I was listening to that. Okay, so it's on a different one. Okay, let me get this. Change windows. And you guys.
Now just Soundly.
Soundly.
Yes, Soundly.
Right, you've got Soundly here. Right, okay, I'll go back 10 seconds.
So, and so it's interesting. I'm going to take a look at this. I'm just showing you a couple portions of it. But look what I did here. I took a sample, just creating that blue circle is the result of doing what's called a three coplanar points in 3D would describe a circle. So I selected one of my beginning points, one in the middle, and one at the end. I'm making sure that I didn't.
One at the beginning, one at the middle, and one at the end. Okay? Everybody heard that, right? Absolutely. Wasn't talking about the center. He's 3 coplanar points. I'll let him go back and say it again. Here we go. Just for you, Blue.
3D would describe a circle. So I selected one of my beginning points, one in the middle, and one at the end, making sure that I didn't pick one of the humps. I wanted to make sure I was picking, the points on the level spans.
Right. The lower
And
deck, as I call it.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
Okay. Right, so that's it. 3 coplanar points for Jesse Kozlowski, and bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
Yeah, and he
And-
picked the level spots. Notice that? Level, he said level.
Yeah. The bits in the middle, he didn't want to get any of the humps.
The humps.
So yeah. So wait a minute, let me go back to this one now. So what we've done there is we've shown you how Larry Scott did actually say it was a straight line. And there we've just gone over the bit that Jesse Kozlowski said, 3 coplanar points. And bam, he got the radius, right? The bam bit was where he put a center point. The 3 points were 3 coplanar points. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's the wrong.
So no hump there.
No, he did well. Just 3 coplanar points, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're going over what Blue Marble said on his comments, and we're just proving that although he keeps saying that I'm lying and we're lying here, as you can see, we just played the clips of Jesse Kozlowski and Larry Scott saying the very things that we said he said, and they have both said. So we're building up the argument here now. So I say, Jesse Kozlowski says he used 3 coplanar points to do your 90-foot hump measurements. It seems like your mates have contradictory methods. One using a circle and the other using a plane. Not really. One of them's using a straight line. The other one's using a plane. Blue Marble commenting back again. You're the guy that needs sorting out. It sounds like a little bit of a veiled threat, but I mean, it can't be. It's Blue Marble. It wouldn't be like that. Jesse clearly identified the 3 points at each end of the bridge. That's 2. And the origin of the... No, Blue, you missed it. One in the middle. To make sure it wasn't on one of the humps. He used the level bit in the middle. You should really listen to when Jesse's talking about how he did it, everything. He was just driving over in his car, and those are the 3 points he used. So, go back and count again if you don't believe me. Well, you've just heard Jesse say it. Anybody that's listening can go and verify that for themselves. Blue Marble, you can obfuscate as much as you want, but you definitely heard Jesse say that. That is what you call a vertical plane. Oh, he's calling it a vertical plane. It contains both endpoints of the bridge as well as every other point on that bridge. The plane passes through. So it's a vertical plane. Blue Marble thinks. Passing through the bridge. And it contains all of the points on the vertical plane. He says that's axiomatic. They are not collinear, however. Now, let's get me right here. They are on a vertical plane, right? All of these points that he's just said that he's made up. Right, these 3 coplanar points that Blue Marble thinks he's got. All of the points on the bridge as he goes over the bridge are on that plane, right? Can somebody verify this? Blue Marble thinks it's a vertical plane, so all of the points would be on the vertical plane. Would they not be collinear on that plane? if the plane is orientated vertically, like Blue Marble seems to think it is, and all of the points are on that vertical plane, I don't know. They would all be on the vertical plane.
I still don't know where it is going to
I know.
to end.
I know. I can't. I don't even know. He's got two falsehoods here, right? He thinks Larry's done it on a circle. Well, Larry said it's doing it on a straight line. And he thinks Jesse's doing it on a vertical plane when he said coplanar points. He's added the centre in. How could Jesse measure the radius like Soundly praised him for if, like Blue Marble says, he's already used the fucking origin? What's that about?
There is nothing like a proof for radius there. So
If you're using the origin at the centre.
but this is your goal. You have to prove. His goal was to prove radius.
Mm-hmm.
The whole conversation was about proving and measuring
Radius.
the radius. So you
But Blue
cannot
Marble-
start.
Yeah, Blue
cannot
Marble
start
thinks he
with this.
started with it. What a trick
Yes.
he's pulled over.
This is circular reasoning. It cannot prove anything.
I don't know whether is Blue Marble trying to tell us that all of the globe guys have been completely fooled by Jesse Kozlowski saying he's measured the radius when he put the fucking centre in his original fucking thing. That's shocking. If that's really as bad as the globe guys are going to get. And then he obviously the rest of this is him trying to work out, right? So that makes 3. Go back and count again if you don't believe me. That is what you call a vertical plane. It contains both endpoints of the bridge as well as every other point on that bridge the plane passes through. So those 3 points are coplanar. That's axiomatic. They are not collinear, however. A chord line or secant line lying in that vertical plane and passing through or connecting the 2 endpoints of the bridge does not pass through the centre point on the bridge.
Why he's making circle from just vertical plane?
From
So
3
this-
coplanar points. He's,
Yeah,
he's missed out which coplanar points. The actual 3 coplanar points are on the bridge. But he thinks that one of those was the centre of the circle for some reason. That's how he's got
Yes.
a circle.
That makes it a circular reasoning. If he is assuming the center, and his goal is to measure radius, it means to go to the center, from surface to the center. This is circular reasoning, so this is fallacy, cannot prove anything.
Blue Marble science. This is the Blue Marble scientific method in action. You see in it the internal workings of a Blue Marble scientist, the head honcho himself. Right, so it's axiomatic that those 3 points are coplanar. He says a chord line or secant line lying in that vertical plane and passing through or connecting the 2 endpoints of the bridge does not pass through the centre point on the bridge. That secant passes about 90 feet below the centre point.
This is another begging the question, because he is assuming that this line is secant. How he can prove that this line is secant and not just horizontal line?
He's put a origin point at the centre. He thinks Jesse did that. He's clever as anything. He slipped that past everybody. Only Blue Marble noticed it. He should be proud of himself. Well done, Jesse. I said he was a wizard, but nobody else to notice that one. He says, as hard as it may be for you, you'll have to get over it and try thinking in 3 dimensions. He actually thinks that there's a 90 feet below the centre point. He thinks there's a hump in the middle. The 2 endpoints. 90 foot. Vertical measurement.
Okay, he thinks, but how he can prove that? He cannot. And he's
can measure
making
it.
circular reasoning.
No, you can measure that. 90 foot vertical measurement. It's on a vertical plane. It's there to be measured. Blue Marble can do it. I think Jesse Kozlowski did it. A 90-foot hump in Lake Pontchartrain.
But from what he said, he didn't measure it at all. He just assumed center of the supposed Earth, and then bang, we have radius. So,
Yeah. And bam. Yeah. 3 coplanar points and bam. The radius of the Earth.
and bam, circular reasoning.
Yeah. Yeah, but what the BAM was, according to Blue Marble Sciences, he already had the centre of the Earth there.
Yes.
So,
yes.
so one of the distances was already there when he went BAM. Genius, Blue. It's a good job you've got Jesse on. He's got you on his team.
So if we have outcome in premise, it means that this is circular reasoning. So this is logical fallacy.
Mm-hmm. Right, so if you thought that was circular reasoning, get ready to hear about Larry. This is the second paragraph. The measurements Larry presented used an identical method.
Okay, so we have circular reasoning number 2.
That's how he opens his second paragraph off. A vertical plane is formed by the point in Maryland, the point in Maine, those are the end points, and the origin of the ECF system GPS uses. Just like Pontchartrain. The midpoint of the secant connecting those 2 endpoints does not pass through the centre point in New York. Wasn't there 3 of them?
They were. He said that he has 3 points.
Yeah.
Not coplanar, but collinear. So
One in the middle.
So this second, I would say that these points are lying on this secant, because otherwise there is no 3 collinear points.
He had A, B, and C. Well, one of them didn't go to the... Did one of them get to go to the centre of the Earth when Larry did his surveying with Jesse and that guy that may or may not live in Maine? Because I'm pretty sure Larry had 3 A, B, and C, whereas Blue Marble again seems to think and the origin.
If the middle point is in the center of something, of some circle, it means that this is not collinear with these 2 points.
So Larry might have been mistaken, or do you reckon? I reckon Blue seems to be the one that's completely mistaken, because he keeps putting it at the centre of the circle. He keeps putting a point in the middle of everywhere.
Maybe he's correcting Larry, but
Yeah.
what Larry said, it is obvious. It cannot be center of the circle.
Who went to the middle one? Who went to the origin? So those two, just like Pontchartrain, it passes below the centre point, but this time that sagitta is about 182,000 feet. That's a vertical height, right? Because it has to be. If it's on a vertical plane, and any measurement measured on it would have to be a vertical height. And as we know, in reality, we can definitely measure vertical height. That's one of the standard measurements that we can actually make. And we call that vertical height measurement an elevation change. So nicely done there, Blue. What's the difference in the middle? Who was in the middle? Oh, he went down to the centre of the earth, apparently. The centre point in New York it is. New York's feet is above those other two. Wow, that's a fucking big distance. The centre point in New York is in the same vertical plane as the end points, but is 182,000 feet above a chord line or an internal tangent line or a secant line drawn through the start point in Maryland and the end point in Maine. I guess the Maine surveyor, or the guy that may or may not live in Maine, may or may not have been the guy that was in Maine. He might not have got a permit to travel too far. And the start point in Maryland and the end point in Maine. The distance between the end points is 520 miles. Pontchartrain is only 24 miles. Obviously, the sagitta will be much larger for the measurements Larry presented compared to Pontchartrain. Plug the data into the sagitta calculator and you'll see what I'm saying is correct. I wonder how many sections of a metagon that would be. A megagon, sorry.
It doesn't matter. It still doesn't prove anything. You can calculate everything you want.
Yeah, you can put the numbers in, put all the data into a sagitta calculator and you'll no doubt get some sort of a measurement of a sagitta. Genius. I guess that would prove sagitta.
With this,
Sagitta proves globe.
if the straight line measurement, let's say this measurement was true.
Mm-hmm.
So what Larry did, he named that straight line sagitta, and then he calculated circumference, let's say. And then he had outcome with this circle, what part of the circle, how long this circumference is between 2 points of sagitta, and therefore we have a globe. This is circular reasoning. So because outcome is in premise, so nothing new. Same thing as Jesse Kozłowski.
Yeah, he said that. It's exactly the same thing.
Yes, this is circular reasoning.
Yeah.
Cannot prove anything.
It says, in both cases, we have 3 points laying in a vertical plane, all at essentially the same elevation, with those 3 points defining an arc with radius of about 6,400 kilometers. And here's some more bad news for you. Bad news, everybody, brace yourself. The measurements Larry presented also match the expected difference in radius for the 4-degree latitude change from Maryland to Maine. Exactly what we see happening at Lake Pontchartrain, with the radius of the Earth being a little greater at the southern part than at the northern part, due to the oblateness of the spheroid of the Earth. Did you know that? It's higher at, you know, there's a greater distance at one end of Lake Pontchartrain than the other, apparently. A higher elevation, but not elevation, just like measured relative to the fictional centre that he placed in there. It doesn't quite fit. But it fits the numbers. Blue will be doing a video about it. Sounds fantastic, I know.
It always can fit numbers. You can make any equation you want.
Yeah.
To fit the numbers.
Yeah, you put them in a calculator, you prove it to yourself. Blue will tell you which buttons to press. The measurements Larry presented also measure the difference radius in the 4-degree latitude. Exactly what we see happening at Lake Pontchartrain, with the radius of the Earth being a little greater at the southern point than the northern point, due to the oblateness of the spheroid of the Earth. I hope you didn't like apples, because you're definitely going to hate them apples. I quite like apples. I don't know which apples you've just given me, though, because I don't know. It sounds like a bit like QE. Sound like QE. I'll be doing a live stream on your inability to understand, Bev. You don't understand stream from Blue Marble. I hope you watch and learn something. Level is not horizontal should be your first takeaway. Serve it up, Blue. Serve it up. So I say, I hope you add the contradictions and how you solve them in your video. I'm glad you've accepted the vertical plane into your measurements, but doesn't that make all perpendiculars to it planes being parallel? Can you see the consequences of that geometrically? I think you'll have to just accept the paradox and move on and be at peace with your globe. Because I think it's about time. We all just accept the paradoxes. Have a bit of epoche. Just agree that the paradoxes are there. Oh, this is a new one. I didn't know this. I thought you knew this is a blue marble 1 minute ago. We might have been doing this as we were going over it. I thought you knew geometry, Bev. I thought you knew that a curved line can lie entirely within a plane as long as it isn't curving in the third dimension. Do I need to show you proof of that? In this case, we aren't talking about perpendicular planes. They serve no purpose, but we needed them. What? Let me say that again. I don't know. I think the vertical plane's thrown him off a bit. It gets a bit hard.
This is contradiction.
Yeah.
We need them, but there is no purpose.
They serve no purpose, but we needed them. What? Do I need to show you proof of that? Wait a minute. I thought you knew that a curved line can entirely lie within a plane as long as it isn't curving in the third dimension. Okay, that's good. Do I need to show you proof of that? No, it's a circle. I've seen a circumference of a circle. I can understand that. In this case, we aren't talking about perpendicular planes. They serve no purpose, but we needed them. We could have an infinite number of planes perpendicular to that one vertical plane we defined, none of which are parallel with each other. What? can anybody... I'm struggling to understand, Blue. I think you've... I mean, you could do a video about this, right? He says, they serve no purpose, but we needed them. We could have an infinite number of planes perpendicular to that one vertical plane we defined, none of which are parallel with each other. What, a perpendicular plane to the vertical plane wouldn't be parallel with each other, and all of which are tangent to the arc formed by the 3 coplanar points in... What is he going on about? I think he's lost his mind.
Yes.
How many sentences can you write in a row while contradicting yourself within each sentence along the way?
Yes, if we have vertical plane, it means that we can draw vertical line. We can, on that plane, we can also draw horizontal line on vertical plane. So, and there is only one horizontal line on that plane. So on that vertical plane. So it cannot be that we can produce any numbers of horizontal planes.
Perpendicular planes, isn't it? I mean, you can't.
Of course, you cannot. This is impossible. There is only one perpendicular plane.
Like, I would put it akin to my whiteboard, right? Now, my whiteboard is I'm going to call it the flatboard. My flatboard, right, is in the vertical position. Now, if I draw a line on that vertical plane horizontally, that would be a representation of a horizontal plane intersecting that flatboard.
Yes, and that was my point. There is only one line.
Yeah.
That would do that work.
But he's sort of saying here, at least I don't want to misrepresent it. It would be good if we could have a Blue Marble scientific member to come on in and just confirm that Blue Marble is saying this. But he does seem to say, they serve no purpose, but we needed them. We could have an infinite number of planes perpendicular to that one vertical plane we defined. And like, you know, an infinite number of planes perpendicular to that one vertical plane, none of which are parallel with each other, and all of which are tangent to the arc. So how can you have an infinite number of planes perpendicular to another plane, but none of those being parallel?
Yes, that's the point.
That's a break of geometric understanding. I mean, it's
yes.
propositioned, isn't it? I think it's defined in book 11. Let me get it. I'll get book 11 for you. A plane is perpendicular to a plane when the straight lines drawn in one of the planes perpendicular to the common section of the two planes are perpendicular to the other plane.
I think that it's proposition 6 or 8.
8. Proposition 8 is... Yeah, that was just the one that defines the perpendicularity of a plane to a plane.
Yeah.
With the definition. But this one says, if two straight lines be parallel and one of them be at right angles to a plane, the other shall also be at right angles to the same plane. Maybe a little backwards thinking because it starts off with parallels and that scares Blue Marble scientists. But they're both perpendicular to the same plane, then they will be parallel. But Blue Marble
but-
says they can't be. None of which are parallel with each other.
That's
Yes,
a scary word for them. Perpendicular.
It implies that these vertical lines are in all directions.
On the vertical plane.
Yes.
I mean, that's
yes.
a bit cheating, isn't it?
Yes, this is cheating. Yes, fraud. This is not true, completely not true. Because if we have vertical plane as your whiteboard, for example, there
Yeah,
is only
flat
one
board.
line, one orientation, which makes it vertical. You cannot draw in any direction, like horizontal, for example.
Yeah.
But according to Blue Marble science, this horizontal line would be also vertical.
Yeah, any line drawn on my flat board, according to Blue Marble's geometric reasoning, would be called a vertical line.
Oh, and here is proposition 14 I was thinking of.
Oh, sorry.
Planes to which the same straight line is perpendicular are parallel to one another.
There you go.
And so it's 14.
Yeah, so there's plenty of them, right? There's multiple proofs to show that planes and lines are perpendicular, are parallel. Like we've been saying, they've just have a problem with vertical and horizontal being perpendicular. This is just an extension of that. They should just accept the paradox and just incorporate it into their globe, their personalized paracosm globe. The monad. Accept it into their monad. Perhaps if we get FE Dogma to tell them, they might sort of do it then. Those planes would all be the ones tangent to that arc which is level. Like, I don't even know which planes he's talking about. Can we get a Blue Marble scientist in here? Or at least a Blue Marble mathematician? A Blue Marble geometer? Just somebody with some crayons from the Blue Marble scientific team.
Yes, to explain this bullshit, because it cannot be understood.
But I mean, I think this might be a win for Blue Marble, right? If Blue Marble can get us to say we don't understand it because it's obvious bullshit, then that proves the globe. 'Tis globe. They don't understand it. 'Tis globe. But I want to know which those planes would be all the ones tangent to that arc which is level, right?
What arc? What arc?
The none of which are parallel with each other and all of which are tangent to the arc, right? So it's the perpendiculars to the every direction on the vertical plane, which is just entirely verticals. So you're going to have a perpendicular which aren't parallel to each other on the I mean, that's impossible.
Impossible.
Right.
Because,
So, yeah, go on.
Impossible because on the plane, whatever it is, he names it vertical plane. You have different orientations. So it cannot be one orientation everywhere. Because on the plane, you can draw differently orientated lines. That's for sure. But in his model, it is impossible because everywhere is vertical. So just nonsense.
I guess.
I think I see what he's saying. But back to your flat board, you take a circle inscribed in let's say a hexagon, just for ease of explanation. All of those straight lines forming the hexagon would be the intersections of planes. They are all tangent to the circle on the vertical plane. So they will not be horizontal planes unless, of course, you make two of them in the horizontal position. So I think that's where he's at in his mind, with the planes that are all perpendicular to the vertical planes but not parallel.
But the moment you have a plane intersecting a plane, geometrically, you come up against the problem that you need to intersect that center part, don't you? It reduces it down to a point. Always, whenever you do this. Because he's got vertical, on the flatboard, right? All of the verticals being both vertical and horizontal. And every angle in between. Every one of those. No matter where it is. But, I mean, they do have an origin. Don't they? They're not just sort of... You can't have a vertical that's at a different angle to another vertical with another origin point. That's not allowed, is it?
No. I think that's one of the only things that's actually not allowed. Yeah.
He's not actually pointed that out, that his he has an origin on his vertical plane. It violates one of the postulates of Euclidean geometry within a circle can be formed at any thing, and obviously the plane. But it's good to know that Blue Marble has accepted this. Let's see what he's got to say. I'm talking about perpendicular plane. They serve no purpose. Planes would all be the ones tangent to that arc, which is level. The arc is level. And at the same elevation, i.e. the same distance from the centre of the... Oh, it's a spheroid now. It was a plane. It's now a spheroid. Ignoring slight oblateness. Just ignore that. And those planes can't be both planes and curved surfaces simultaneously, which proves geometrically that level can't be horizontal. I think it's time for you to make peace with the globe. Level 'tis not horizontal. Well, I think Blue Marble Science has done fantastically here, because he's said that perpendicular to vertical on a vertical plane is a curve. And so if anybody thinks you can have a horizontal plane being perpendicular to vertical, obviously, Blue Marble has said here, those planes can't be both planes and curved surfaces simultaneously, which sort of goes to show that Blue Marble Science, at least the head man, the guy that has the YouTube channel, does know what a contradiction is. He can see contradictions. Look at that. Those planes can't be both planes and curved surfaces simultaneously. A Blue Marble scientist can see a contradiction. Mark this moment. He said,
Is this also the... Oh, sorry, go on.
He said, which proves geometrically that level can't be horizontal. All we need to do is work out what this bullshit is here, and we might have some sort of a proof out of it.
No, it doesn't prove.
What?
Impossibility.
Blue Marble Science proof. Come on.
Yes, but he's saying that this impossibility
proves
that those planes can't be both planes and curved surfaces. So we have impossibility.
It's a contradictory proof.
He's proving from contradiction.
It's sort of a Modus Tollens contradictory proof, this one. Because he's sort of denying it, isn't he? By he's
so
getting his
so
proof through denying
planes, because planes cannot be curved surfaces, this fact, this impossibility,
Yeah.
proves
Yep.
geometrically
Yep.
that level cannot be horizontal.
And therefore, 'tis globe. Always finish with
Yeah.
a flourish. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's genius.
This is, you know what this is? This is Moda's bullocks. How's that for a new term?
I think we had Todus Bollins or something when the Flat Earth was
That's
trying to
good
do
too.
it. Yeah.
But I like this one, Moda's bullocks. Yeah.
But it's definitely a blue marble sign. This is going to have to go down in the Globjic. I'm going to...
No,
The
the
Globic
funny thing is that this contradiction is true because, of course, planes cannot be curved surfaces.
That's what we wanted to hear. A true contradiction.
Yes, so, but it doesn't prove anything about level. So this is a pure non sequitur. Pure.
I think the best part about that final contradiction he's laying out is the internal contradiction he is not mentioning. Follow it through with me. A plane is two-dimensional, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And a sphere having curved surface is three-dimensional.
Obviously.
So how many times have we heard from the blue marble scientists at large about the straight lines / planes on the surface of a sphere, like flat earth math wanting to have a circle on the surface of the sphere?
Yeah.
So this is actually their contradiction laid out, handed over as a non sequitur, pointed out by paper, to somebody else. They're just handing it off, but it's their own contradiction that they have already internalized this very contradiction, and now Blue is outlining it as a contradiction.
Yeah. And he can see the contradiction. Can't be both planes and curves.
And he can see this contradiction, and this contradiction inspires him to make conclusion from that. Complete non sequitur conclusion, but still, the premise is true. So, good work. He is progressing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some sort of reasoning going on there, isn't there? It just seems a little bit muddled up within the geometric reasoning of how he gets perpendicular. I mean, it doesn't seem to have a grasp of perpendicular to me. I don't think he can. Has he ever done Lego? Is Blue Marble one of the Lego guys? Or is he?
You mean,
Of course he is. Are you kidding me?
you mean Lego blocks?
No, yeah. They have the adult fans of Lego, AFOLs. There's a group of them over there in the Blue Marble scientific community. You might have seen them making their little rockets or big rockets. You've seen them, haven't you?
Okay, so great, great stuff.
Yeah. I can't see if Blue Marble Science is like one of his friends over there, a fan of Lego, how he manages to justify the infinite planes that are perpendicular to it that aren't parallel with each other.
Are you actually saying Lego blocks? I thought you misspoke there and you meant
No.
Lego.
No,
You're actually
Lego.
saying grown men
Yeah.
playing with Lego?
Yeah. They love it over there. Adult fans of Lego. They have an acronym for it.
My, oh my, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't until I went over there to Blue Marble Science Discord. The amount of things you get learning about how adults, well, just how adult they are over there at the Blue Marble scientific community. Some of the most intelligent conversations you'll ever have. They have a massive list of all of the proofs that they hold for their model. This being the first one, actually. I think Blue can write this one down. I love that. Which proves... That's going to be one of my favourite things, that. A geometric proof. Blue Marble Science has come up with a geometric proof.
I thought they had no proofs. He's making an exception here?
Well, he says that level can't be horizontal, but he's just bent horizontal all around a circle.
No, that's standard procedure for them.
But why can't level be that? If he's bending horizontal, why can't level also be that? Or is it level isn't that?
It is in their fantasy. Has Blue changed it?
Well, it says here that level can't be horizontal. I'm pretty sure he bent the perpendicular, didn't he? I don't know. It gets so confusing, this Blue Marble scientific mathematical stuff that he's doing. No doubt somebody else will be one of the experts to do this.
It appears that he sees the contradiction, but he's allowing for both. He's going into dialetheism. He knows that it can be both, but in their model, it's both. When they need them, of course. Whenever they need one, they pull it out. It's like a Swiss Army knife, you know? You need the curve, you pull out the curved part. You need the straight, you pull out the straight part.
Put on this while I get this other one. All right, so that was... Thank you very much, Blue. I didn't realise you'd give us a proof at the end of that. It's very nice. Great.
Good, solid globe proof.
This globe.
Misa like this.
Where is it? I've got... "27 replies." Let me check how many this is. Yes, this one. Okay, let me get down here. Right, here we go. Okay. Now, FE Dogma. Did FE Dogma write anything? Plane of the horizon, equal elevation. I think we went over these ones last night. I can't know why. I don't know why I've commented to FE Dogma unless he's deleted one of his comments. They do that a lot. So for some reason, I seem to have replied to FE Dogma, who doesn't seem to be in the thread before it. So I can only assume he's deleted the comment that I'm replying to. I say you place 2 tangents on LIGO, and Rumpus and Blue Marble Science backed you up by saying that you could have multiple tangent points on a horizontal because a horizontal changes elevation. In the 5 Laws of Globe video, Blue Marble Science YouTube channel, you should make it a globe training video. The 5 Laws of Globe, if you haven't seen it. We went over it for a day, but SE has put it out on his channel as well. So he got special permission from Blue Marble Science to post it as is. Entire thing clipped out. You can watch the 5 Laws of Globe. That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about the two tangents that he placed and that he admitted he placed on it. FE Dogma here says, wow, now you just come up with the granddaddy of strawman, because I have never said something as ignorant as you can have multiple tangent points on a horizontal because a horizontal changes elevation. No, that was Rumpus and Blue Marble Science that said that when they were backing you up in the 5 laws of globe, like I said earlier. I don't think anybody said that you said that, but you just put 2 tangent points on it. See, very easy to see. He says, nor do I think Blue or Wally said this either. He's completely forgetting about Rumpus when Rumpus was on Blue Marble Science Discord and YouTube channel. SE's got the video if you want to go and watch it, where they all agreed that they could put a different tangent point to a horizontal because it had a different elevation. You check it for yourself. Go and watch the video. If we can go over it if we want to make a big deal out of it. We can put all of these little clips of things together, like we've just shown you earlier about Jesse Kozlowski saying it, Larry Scott saying it. We can definitely put these things together because they've been recorded on YouTube videos. They're there for everyone to see. Unless you guys want to start wiping your videos. But I think most of them have been got already anyway, so...
I just posted it in YouTube, by the way, for everybody to see it. Thanks, Blue. Appreciate it.
There you go. So if anybody wants to check that this thing that FE Dogma said he never said, you can check that in there. That's what they are saying. He says, how many times have I explained this to you? Those changes in elevations are separate, parallel, curved lines that are concentric arcs. No such thing. He's just fucking made that up. Parallel lines are straight, lying within the same plane. We've been over it many times. Many people have agreed with us. Who did we go over it with the other day? Somebody forgot about it, weren't we? We were going over it. He forgot about parallel lines being in the same plane. I think it was Louis. Or maybe Darren. Or one of the other guys. It says, do you imagine that Euclid says a straight line can be tangent to more than one concentric circle or arc? You might want to read Euclid again. No, that's why we were saying it. Can't have 2 tangent points on one arc. One straight line. Unless you make another circle, of course. But I don't think that's what you're doing. Or is that what you're doing? Maybe that's how they're getting around it. But again, see that? Changes in elevations are separate, parallel, curved level lines.
There is no such animal.
It doesn't exist, does it? It's just made it up. Blue Marble Scientific... mathematical sophistry. Just making up words. I mean, straight out the book of Ruhif and Brenda. Just bullshit. I say parallel lines are straight within a plane and not curved. Saying parallels curved is a mathematical falsehood. Please stick to known facts and not stray into fantasy. And then I say parallel lines are within the same plane, straight, and being extended ever so far do not meet. Bending parallel lines is rather a pathetic attempt to avoid your twin tangent conundrum, but I guess you've got to do something to convince your fellow Blue Marble scientists. There you go. FE Dogma. He'll be coming out to help the guys with these twin tangent conundrum. Because you've seen it here. In his video, he admits he's got two tangents. Blue marble and rumpus. Fix that by saying that a horizontal plane has different elevations, and then they can draw another circle to make another tangent point. But if you can do that for an ever-increasing elevation, then it has multiple tangent points along it. That's what rumpus and blue marble said.
Yes, and the question is how it is related to the shape of the Earth. Because obviously they are not drawing these circles, greater and greater circles, because Earth is bigger and bigger. So it has nothing to do with the globe, their globe. So it is completely disconnect with their model here.
Yep. I just point out for everybody to know. Really, I do it as a favour to the blue marble guys, because I don't think they get up to date. I don't think they all talk to each other enough. You know, people like who have you got? Neil deGrasse Tyson, Simon Dan, Conspiracy Cats. Who are some of the other famous ones? Dan, what's he called? That guy that isn't a professor, but he calls himself a professor.
Dave. Phil Bill.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah, there's a couple of people that call themselves professors that aren't actually professors. But yeah, they don't talk to each other, obviously, because I'm not too sure that everybody's aware of the geometric complications or the geometric proofs that blue marble's just assembled. Vertical lines go everywhere, therefore you can't have a horizontal plane, and horizontal planes can't be both curved and planes, so therefore
it has to be curved. Yes.
Yeah, tis globe.
Because I choose globe, therefore it has to be curved.
Genius. Obviously, he's been helped by Beddy. You can hear Beddy's logical influences all through that argument, I think.
Yes, it sounds so solid.
Right, now I don't expect any more blue marble scientists to be coming in, because I don't think they like blue marble science. I think they've this is his sword to fall on. Blue marble's took it up, and that's the way it is.
I'm surprised nobody wants to challenge the gravity thing. It's free for all Friday.
Well, that's vertical, right? It's the same thing. Blue marble linked it to it. Blue marble linked vertical to gravity in the purpose that nobody will go anywhere near the gravity thing as well, right? Because you can associate vertical with the geometric argument then. And that means you can associate G to the geometric argument. You're not allowed to do that. You can't come and talk about like plumb bobs and stuff in reality. Not a chance now. They've all been linked together.
Oh, plumb bobs.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I have
there
a
is
question for everybody. I have a big question for everybody listening concerning plumb bobs. It's free for all Friday, right?
Me too. I have a question too.
Can we just state that when he just said plumb bob, he wasn't talking about the guy that isn't a doctor, right? No attempts were made at doxing anybody that isn't a doctor by mentioning plumb bob. Okay.
And he didn't borrow Kozlowski's level either, the plumber's one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but really, what I want to talk about is pendulums, right?
Okay.
So the
Swing bobs.
fantasy. Sorry.
Swing bob.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fantasy globe model says that a pendulum, right, is like a GPS part, one of the coordinates. It'll give you latitude. That's what they say, right? They also say that it swings in a particular manner and each latitude, right? Each degree gives a different swing. Okay, fair enough. That's the claim. Now, I was wondering, and I challenge anybody, has anybody ever seen or thought of putting two or three or more pendulums side by side in the history of the pendulum world, let's say 400 years or so? Has anybody ever thought of that, or has anybody seen an experiment showing multiple pendulums side by side?
I've seen the metronomes on a table where they gradually sync up together.
Yeah, that's different because they have it moving. It's like a moving.
What?
Yeah.
What about when they built? Sorry, Yassin.
No, go on.
No, what about when they constructed things like churches? They would have hung plumb bobs.
Well, funny you say that because the original guy that came up with this was Galileo, I believe, and he got the idea from watching a chandelier swing in a church. So funny you should say that. Spot on.
Yeah,
But my
I see.
question still stands.
You reminded me of you've heard about Newton's cradle, but unfortunately, you know those five balls that hang on strings, and you can pick one up and swing it into the other balls, and then it bounces off on the other side. And
No, that doesn't count. No.
no, because that's two strings. So, but yeah.
That's kinetic energy being transferred, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
You see in the live chat. I don't know whether you're talking to the right people here. Fight the Flat Earth has taught his kids how to calculate their position on the Earth exactly using nothing but a swinging pendulum.
That's my whole argument. Yeah,
That's
when I said part of the GPS. Yeah.
It's not part of it. Exactly. They can fight the flat. This is why I say fight the flat Earth's your man, right? He's not even a part of it. He's taught his kids to do it with nothing but a swinging pendulum, right?
So he claims both. Wow.
Well, yeah, they don't even. His kids doesn't even need a pen or a paper or a calculator or anything like that. They can mentally calculate their position exactly on Earth with nothing but a swinging like a plumb bob. Here are kids. He drops them off at the weekends somewhere, like he just plumb bob in hand. Off they go.
But according to this new gravity SE brought right now, if the Earth is coming to plumb bob and plumb bob is not going to Earth, so what makes it straight line?
Well, yeah, this isn't a this isn't a plumb bob. This is a swinging pendulum. It's a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
But before we were talking about plumb bobs. So in that kind of gravity, plumb bob would never work because it would not be a straight line, because gravity, this tending of the plumb bob to the Earth, this is what makes, what should make it to be straight. But if this is Earth is coming, so plumb bob is not tending to the Earth, so it cannot be straight.
This is one of my favorite riddles. I think Bev came up with this one. What do you call a stationary pendulum?
Like
anybody?
Plumb bob.
Bingo! Paper wins the prize.
100 points. Granted.
Yeah. So this is dialetheism at its finest.
It is weird, isn't it, that the only way you can know vertical is when the plumb bob isn't swinging. And the only way you can know horizontal is when there is no motion. It has to be static. So both of these tools, vertical and horizontal, require static in order to be what they are.
Yeah, and they think if you swing one of them, it'll become a GPS somehow. Fantasy. Like I said, I challenge anybody. I tried a few times. I didn't spend the whole day looking, but I tried a few searches. Try to find multiple pendulums swinging side by side anywhere. Surely in 400 years, somebody must have thought of doing that, no?
For what purpose?
I don't know. They thought of everything else.
So well, you can do it, can't you?
Uh-huh. But no brainiac, no scientist have ever said, look, I'm going to verify my results. Here you go. I'm going to double, I'm going to triple it. Here you go. I'm at this latitude. Look, and all three of these apparatus show this. Nobody thought of this.
I think you'd have to get it on a platform, wouldn't you? Like a floating platform. You'd have to hang them from that. Can you remember? I wouldn't say nobody's thought of it. Can you remember the plywood thing that I had with George? The horizontal plane thing, where you imagine a plywood sheet at eye level looking at the horizon. You not remember that, where I got him to cut a hole in a sheet of plywood, put his head through it.
Poke his head through it.
Yeah.
Like a space hopper.
And then make it like, so that plane of piece of wood is a plane, right? And then you're looking and you're being able to make it parallel to the plane of the horizon, right? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Right. Then at each corner, guess what you do? Dangle a plumb bob.
Yeah.
Perpendicular, isn't it? Like, so I had George walking round, looking at the horizon through a horizontal plane that he'd made of a sheet of plywood, and we extended it out really big, and we kept those plumb bobs perpendicular to it.
With his head sticking through it. Looked like a plumb bob peacock.
Like Bugs Bunny, the guy, the hunter there.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, it was actually. I have done that. I don't know whether any of them, the Blue Marble scientists, actually took me up on it. Never seen any of them film it.
He's got his head through a piece of plywood. He's got two plumb bobs hanging down each end. He's lining the plywood up with trying to line up the plywood from the horizon while swinging.
No, you could level it. You could level it. You had a level on it. So the level was leveling the plywood sheet. So you knew that was a horizontal plane.
I wouldn't know if I'm supposed to listen to him or throw a pie at his face or a wet sponge or dunk him or something.
You can't be laughing at people with scientific experiments like that. I can remember it sounds like it when we were doing the Bedford levels sort of stuff. Sorry, George, God rest his soul. We'll be going over that. George did some fantastic stuff.
That sounds like a costume to dress up as a Blue Marble scientist for a carnival or something.
Yeah, the impossible, like, Blue Marble science dress up. You go around scaring your mates. They can't possibly be perpendicular.
No chance. Yeah, it's so funny. The swinging pendulums. So even themselves, when they do it, right, it doesn't, they have to try it a couple of times. It's not like each and every time they let it go, they get the desired results. Let's be clear on that, right? So it's a fantasy story. And just the fact that no one has ever put two of them side by side, I find that really interesting. Really interesting. They put metrodomes, like Bev said,
Mm-hmm.
but how come not no real thing? Each one of them should show the same motion, and they know it's never going to happen. So I call this the pendulum killer, the pendulum GPS killer. Unless somebody can find that, I can't find it. I can't find anywhere where they have two, three of them side by side and saying, look at the motion. It's the exact same on all three of them every time. I bet anybody that will not happen.
Wait, you should do it then.
You know, I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of doing it. I'll be the first one, I think, that has ever done it.
Surely they'd say to you straight away, the first thing anyone would say to you is, well, they can't be parallel. Surely, I think that would be the first answer you got from anybody whenever they were to check that out.
Uh-huh.
How much is a pendulum
Good
There's
question.
some
these
good
days?
fancy ones, right? You'd have to get some antique ones if you were doing
Dude,
it.
you can make them, man. I've made a few of them, man. Just with little lead balls, man. Just take an old battery and torch it or put it by a flame and get some lead and just shape it into a cylinder or ball or something, and just hang it from a fishing line, real thin.
And you think they would accept something like that?
Well, I
They
just
would,
did it to
they
see
would
myself, and
demand the finest quality.
I did it live on Earth Awakening. I mean, not live, but I was showing it in the background, and I did it for like 40 minutes, and it never moved at all. But it always moves. It's wildly inaccurate. Like I don't have a vacuum chamber to put it in, and mine's only like about 9 foot, but still,
Just get a
it
jar
never
of
does
oil.
the same. I can never get it to do the same thing twice.
Put it in a jar of oil. The plumb bob at the bottom. That should stabilize it and stop it from moving about
not a
too
bad
much.
Yeah, I might set that thing up here in a minute.
But you normally have to have it through the center, don't you, to get the plumb bob to the point. If that's what you're after.
Yep.
This is all fantasy. You said, Brian, that you never got it to make the same shape when you let it go?
Yeah, I could never get any consistency out of it.
That's what I suspect.
A lot of times it starts. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say if they put 2, 3 of them side by side, that would be pretty prevalent. All 3 of them making 3 different designs. I'll bet anything that's what will happen. Well, not anything. I'll bet somebody, let's say $100. I'll donate it to your favorite charity. Somebody does this. I might even do it. I'm seriously thinking of doing it.
Well, if you can get two
It doesn't have to be lead either.
£100 quid, you'd be all right.
You don't have to use lead, just
Yeah. Sorry, spot on. What'd you say?
See if you can buy 2 for $100 then.
You can buy 2 for $100. I'm gonna look into it after this.
No, it's just saying that's what you would have spent. That doesn't matter.
I mean, how hard could it be? A freaking string with a plumb bob on the bottom. They all got to be the same length string and the same weight. Well, I believe weight doesn't actually matter. Yeah, weight doesn't actually matter, if I remember Galileo's experiment.
Why don't you do your own?
That's what I'm thinking of doing, yeah. Neither does the, you know what's interesting? Neither does like, let's say you have a pendulum, right? And it's just hanging plumb. Now, if you pull it back, let's say 20 degrees, or if you pull it back 50 degrees, you would think that the one at 50 degrees and the one at 20 degrees, they would have a different time interval between swings, right? Logically?
No, if they have same length, no.
Exactly.
That's what how metronome is working.
Exactly. Yeah. You know that because you're into music, so you understand that. Yeah, exactly
yes,
that.
because I have mechanical.
Yeah.
So you are just there is on this like stick, metal stick, there is a weight. You can move this weight up and down.
And that's what does the changing, right?
Yes.
Of the timing?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you got it right away. But it's counterintuitive because you think that the further back you pull it, you know, it would be a difference than yeah, but it's not. And neither is the weight, by the way, paper.
It change. It change. It will change speed.
Yeah, but not the weight.
Let's say
distance. It's the distance to the, yeah.
Because if you put weight down near to the center, it will wobble faster. But
yeah, the distance to the weight, not the amount of weight, right? Is that what you're saying?
It matters where this weight is.
Exactly.
If it is far away, let's say closer to outer rim, it will wobble slower.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, and I want you to understand, in the case of a swinging weight, like back and forth, right? In that sense, the weight doesn't matter in these swings, like we said, just like the amount of pull, the amount of degrees of pull. Though if you change the weight, it doesn't matter. The timing will still be the same. The only thing that varies that is the length of the string.
Yes, but if you are closer to the center, it wobbles faster. But it makes shorter road, let's say. The swing is shorter. But I would say that speed, linear speed, would be the same. It's just shorter swing, but speed is the same.
The timing, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, this was Galileo that figured that one out, believe it or not, 400 years ago. The story goes, while he was in church watching the chandelier swing. Has anybody found anything? Has anybody tried to look? Like me, when I looked, I said, okay, I'm going to find something on this. And then I started looking some more, nothing, looking some more, nothing. I go, you can't be serious. There's not one experiment ever in 400 years that has two pendulums or more side by side.
Because they will show discrepancy, I would say. They will not follow the same path, I think.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that. I think no matter how many times they do them, there's no chance that they're going to get the same pattern in all three of them. And they know it. Maybe that's why they haven't done it. But what's funny though, they thought of this other monstrosity. Have you seen the double jointed pendulum? Have you guys seen that?
No.
Just Google that or YouTube that. You're gonna freak out. They thought of that monstrosity. It's like a pendulum with a joint and another pendulum. Like you got to see it to understand. Like a complete ridiculous thing.
But it cannot rotate, I think.
It's weird. It's like a Frankenstein kind of a thing. Let me see if I can Google one and see. Hold on. You guys got to see this.
I'm just getting some pictures from a website I found about surveying. Don't mind me. Refraction as well. Goes into everything.
Here, I just posted it. Check that out, paper and everybody. They thought of doing that. That's a double pendulum. Now, why on earth would you think of doing that?
That's a
But not,
chaos machine, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
It's the chaos principle, I think.
yeah. That you can't predict. Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. You can't predict. Like, well, okay, whoop-de-doo. It's like, okay,
So one of
but
them you can predict, but if you put two of them together, not a chance.
not a chance in hell. So maybe that's why they don't want to put two or three of them because of this monstrosity. Told them that? I don't know. That's right, Sugar. Saragaki. That's right. So they thought of this, right? But they didn't think, nobody in the history of brainiacs of thinking thought of, you know what? I'm going to put 2, 3 pendulums and see what happens. I don't believe that. So I think this chaos monstrosity and the fact that they haven't done it proves that, well, not proves, but highly suggests that it's all made up fantasy, that a pendulum could tell you your latitude, or that the earth is actually rotating, the mythical earth. We have no challengers, no baller wants to step into the ring and defend us.
Defend what? They've got no argument. The only reason this stuff gets talked about is because you talk about it. They wouldn't talk about it themselves.
Well, as a matter of fact, they were talking about it. That's why I came up with this. And it quieted them down quite quickly, I must say. Oh, they were the one that brought this up. And then I said, wait a minute, okay. How about this?
As Fight the Flat Earth told Howard to do his, how he taught his kids to position themselves exactly on the earth with nothing but a swinging pendulum.
I'd love to hear that story.
I know. I was waiting for him to do it, to show us how he taught his kids. I mean, he shouldn't be keeping that sort of stuff to himself, should he?
It could save lives in the high seas.
Yeah.
Or anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
You lost? You got a string, take from your shoes, take out a string, find the rock, swing it, follow the fight the tight shirt method, and you know where you're at.
You are, yeah. Just get your plumb bob out, give it a bit of a wiggle, like a magic sort of thing, and then you know where you are. A few quick calculation, mental calculations, easily doable by young children. Should be good for the kids. It should be good. Like they should teach kids that, especially nowadays, right? You never get lost.
They never taught me that in Scouts. When I was in Boy Scouts, when they taught us orienteering, they never taught us that. We all had shoelaces. We all could have had found a rock. Or it would be part of the first aid kit. You have a pendulum in your first aid kit. There's a good saying there.
He's laughing at Mobius. Yeah, there's no. Well, I don't know. I would quite like to see Blue Marble's proof that level isn't horizontal. I'd like to see him sort of write that out as a logical proof. Then we can like easily be walked through the steps. I think if he doesn't do it, I might try and have a go for him, because it could do with going in Logic. We could definitely have that as an imaginometry proof. Because you have to imagine, first off, is imagining a plane, a vertical plane, where every line drawn would be vertical. It's also really hard to imagine a vertical plane where the center point is always in the same place. So even if you have a portion of that plane, there would still be a center that may not be on that particular part of the plane that you're dealing with.
So the center of the plane would be outside of of the plane.
Yeah. The
Or
portion
portion.
of the plane that you're using, yeah. It is. It's putting a location marker to a center of a plane, isn't it? That's new. We've never had that before. Fixing the center. Well, is it the center of everything? I'm guessing so. It's like a monad, isn't it? It's the monad
In their
at the
fantasy,
center.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's one center. Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about Blue Marble and his vertical plane. Like the moment you say vertical plane in Blue Marble Science's conception, you're putting a center to it.
Oh boy, then
That
you're in trouble.
center has
Then.
a position, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, it won't work like that. Definitely not. No,
Well, it
no.
does work like that. You don't say it won't
In reality,
work like it does. Yeah, it has to.
Yeah.
For me, this would be troublesome because in this great universe, the center of the vertical plane, it is in the center of the Earth.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the edge of some galaxy.
I know,
So
it's
this is
very
strange.
geocentric, isn't it? But I mean, hey, this is Blue Marble science, right? It's the science of the Blue Marble. And if Blue Marble science can't be geocentric, who can be, right? His thoughts have always got to be with the Blue Marble. Every waking thought. So he should, literally, he deserves to. If anyone can have a monad at the center of the entire existence of everything, then it should be Blue Marble.
Well, can't they have multiple centers?
No, not as far as no, not as far as verticals going to the center.
I tried.
Yeah, I mean, there's other people that have tried having different heavy bits and mountains and all of that sort of stuff that would deviate this vertical, but verticals always have to go to the center. The vertical plane always has to go, because you can't have a vertical line not being on the vertical plane, can you? So
No chance.
If there was any deviation from the center, then a vertical line couldn't lie on the plane, and that. Oh, well, I mean, you could have a vertical plane, I suppose. I mean, depends how weird you want to get. Not too sure. Could you have a vertical plane that wasn't really a plane, like curved, like Blue Marble says? Could you disprove vertical planes?
Yeah.
By, I suppose you could.
A vertical plane that wraps around a sphere. Of course you could have that. This globe.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of a weight one, right? Like it goes, vertical line goes, oh, it's a bit heavy over there. I'm off. I quite like that heavy bit. And just makes a little bit of a wiggle. Like you saw in that video the other day where he had that little dip in the water.
A slight dip. Yeah.
Yeah, have you tried that in your fishbowl yet?
No, I'm fixing to try it later.
Yeah, put a bit of lead in right in the middle. And you'll see it all start curving. I think. That's the way it works.
The meniscus.
No, the water. The water will curve to the lead. But it curves the wrong way. That's the only problem. You might be better putting the lead weight above it. See whether you can get it.
I don't know, man. These people, what they have to think in their heads to make this thing work, this fantasy model of theirs. It's incredible.
I think it's entertaining. It's entertaining to have adults that are, you know, also when they can get a break from doing their little Lego models, that, you know, they come and obsess about it. It's like I keep considering this place like a daycare center for the most afflicted. Listen to poor Darren. I'm only going to read this once because I think that's all it deserves. He says, many of these things assume a level plane and a short distance. How would you actually test that assumption holds true for scales beyond the assumption? Say a 20-kilometer run.
Yeah, that's how they do it.
Once is enough.
They place a limit in their mind where reality works, and then there's a spot. I call it the cog-dis event horizon, where reality ceases to exist, and the curve takes over. It's very simple. They do it. He just said it. His limit, his event horizon is, say, 20 kilometers.
Listen, I'll go over it once more, right? He says, how would you actually attest that assumption holds true for scales beyond the assumption?
Yep. He tells you up to a certain point, reality is true for me. But after you pass this line, I go into fantasy.
Like beyond the wardrobe. You're like, I'm going.
Yep,
How are you going to
the
test
event.
it? How are you going to test it the other side of the wardrobe, eh? How are you going to do that?
You have to click your heels together. Yeah, there's his limit. He even tells you his limit. They tell you. Reality is up to this point, then we go into fantasy. We go into La La Land.
What assumption? I don't know. There isn't an assumption that level is horizontal. We know that. We've already done it. We've tested it. It is. And logically, there's no other way it could possibly be anything else. So it's sort of confirmed through logic, really. It's not really much need to do with it. Now Darren's saying level is planar. The state of their minds. They're so confused with what reality is and their model that contradicts it, but leaves them, I don't know, leaves them just struggling.
Yeah, it's amazing how
he's
you
going
can
to
do that.
upset the Globers saying stuff like that. You guys see what Darren's saying? Darren's one of the Blue Marble scientific community. I think they'll be disassociating him. I wouldn't say that, Paige. I mean, my globe, I have level being a straight line on a horizontal plane. Because, I mean, if we assume axiom 1, right, if we take on axiom 1, then 'tis globe. Well, on my globe, I have level being horizontal. Because I'm taking it, a globe is where you live. A mental construct of where you live. And where I live, I know for sure that level is horizontal. So I'm pretty sure that 99% of people, 99.9999% of people will agree with me that level is horizontal. And that's what happens on the globe. I mean, how could it be possible that it is reality and it also happens on the globe? I mean, it can't contradict what happens on the globe because it is in reality. So, I mean, that would be, you can't have a contradictory proof to prove the globe by the fact that something that couldn't happen on the globe actually happens in reality. You couldn't have that proof in a globe. So I'd say they're in a bit of a predicament and they should just come to on the level sort of thinking. Just accept level being horizontal into your globe model. Just incorporate it. Be fine. You can just then go along with ep or hey and say, I'm happy, I know. 'Tis globe. Level is horizontal. I'm fine with it.
I heard an amazing thing today.
Oh, go on. Do tell. This is going to be good.
Well, as you know, I am a pool owner, and I fill my pool every year with water. And while my pool is not rectangular, I heard that if you have a rectangular pool with vertical walls that are perpendicular to a horizontal bottom of your pool, uniform depth. Not all of us have uniform depth pools.
Yeah,
but
you're
they
not
do
having
exist.
it. Yeah, trapezoidal. Yeah, I know. We won't have that. A normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just talking your standard rectangular, Olympic size pool, uniform depth, quality racing pool to swim in. At the horizontal bottom,
Yeah.
you fill it with water. What I've been told is, I was told this today by an esteemed globgician. He told me that when you fill the water, as the water level goes up, as you're filling your pool, the middle point of your pool, the water piles up in the middle of your pool, and it's higher as the water level goes up. It doesn't fill uniformly.
Nice.
Yeah, I learned that today.
Always in the center?
Always in the center. No matter where you put the hoses, you can put hoses, or you could have filling. You can fill it uniformly from the bottom. You can have pipes going in anywhere you want. It's always going to pile up in the center, like an hourglass.
Okay, so
like sand going through an hourglass.
Yeah. So when you said your pool wasn't a rectangular shaped one, right? Well, could you find the center of your pool by looking for the high spot?
The high spot. I could find the center. I could find the deepest part of my pool for sure by pouring some water in the pool and waiting for it to pool in the deepest part.
Yeah.
And create a water level in that deepest part. But
that'd have to be the center, wouldn't it? Because that's where it always pools up, in the center.
But the crazy part of that is that's usually where the drain is. And if you just stop up the drain, I mean, that drain could be in the corner of the pool.
Yeah. But there'd be less mass where the drain is. So that'd make it go up anyway, wouldn't it? I'm going back to that other one. I'm like Jesse Kozlowski. All of this surveying stuff's really taken over me recently, and especially with the calculations for length and distance measurements. I find it fascinating. They're doing the trigonometry. Like Larry Scott managed to make a line longer by measuring to the middle. From the middle to the ends was longer than the total length.
Here's trig.
If you add the middle to both of the ends up together, you'll get more than the total length of the thing. I think it's fantastic. They're so
I'd
good.
love to see it. I'd love to see him work that out on paper. I'd really enjoy that.
There's one of the videos in there that Jesse Kozlowski praises Larry Scott and his methods for doing. He can crack out a solar observation in minutes. Like, and he's an old pencil and pad guy.
I can crack out a solar observation in a half a second by just looking at the sun, but
don't do
whatever.
that, please. If anybody's listening, please do not look directly at the sun, especially with optical instruments.
Definitely not with optical instruments. Yes,
it's not a normal, usual surveying sort of operation, looking at the sun. But hey, some of these guys, they're good.
Yeah.
So the volume question, just to let everybody know who's out there, people are leaving now. The volume question is the length times height times width, the three-dimensional that you would imagine for the cubic volumes of stuff. You may think that they were standardized, but they're not for liquids. There is an extra bit that you have to add on now. Is it a spherical excess? Is that what we're calling it?
They've been calling it a cap lately, but there are other problems that they, when they start thinking about the cap, they sometimes ignore or sometimes pretend don't exist as they get deeper and deeper in their paracosm.
Have they mentioned the blue marble science vertical plane problem yet within there?
I've tried to kind of, obliquely point it out to them, but they haven't quite caught on to it yet.
Yeah, because that is a massive problem, as Blue Marble explained. You can't have a plane being both planar and curved at the same time. And unfortunately, all vertical planes have their center of the plane already predetermined. So you can't just place a cube and expect you'd be able to put one of them vertical, one of the sides vertical and the other one horizontal. Because, can you imagine that for swimming pools? The problems that they must have to go through, knowing that they can't have a horizontal plane for the base of their swimming pools.
Well, they're trying to skip over that part. I've pointed it out a couple of times. I said, can we just confirm how we built this rectangular pool with vertical walls and a horizontal bottom? But they don't really want to. They mostly are talking about after it's already full what it would look like.
Yeah, they're talking about the cap.
Right.
Let's just talk about the spherical cap.
Here's the cap. I'm like, well, how does it fill exactly? Well, wait, how do we build it first? Can we discuss how we set the forms and pour the concrete?
What you just said now, Mike, I tried that with a basketball court. So check this out. I asked them, you have a standard American basketball court, all shiny and level. I asked them, we tracking? Yep. And then I says, okay, now you take, those little kiddie swimming pools, you fill it up with water, you go to the center of the court, and you gently spill the water out. And I asked them, what shape will the water take? Guess what they responded, Mike?
I love you. Go ahead, tell me. It's brilliant. Well done.
They told me in the center of the court there would be a pool, a higher pool, like a hump of water once it all leveled out. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing the exact same problem, only with, I've got vertical walls on the side to contain the water. and Betty is struggling with how the pool fills. He's asked me what I mean by height. When I say height of the sides of the pool, I said, should we use depth? Can we use depth of the water of the pool?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
it's crazy.
he struggles with uniform depth. I said, yeah, but the bottom is horizontal. We've been sure to level it. We have the best construction team possible out there. We have Rakia's guys.
Yeah, they don't see
They
the
watered.
paradox. Just call
They
it the
watered the
swimming pool
land.
paradox. It'll get them triggered. I call mine the basketball court paradox.
It's beautiful.
I think Blue Marble's uncovered a massive problem, right? That's why Betty might have a problem, is that whenever you say vertical, it's been predetermined, the monad, to fix all verticals too. Like Blue Marble said, the vertical planes become fixed at that. So when you say a height, you're talking like at each end of the thing. Well, I don't think they have that. They just think everything refers to that monad. All verticals refer to monad. You can't deviate from it either, and I can see why they've got problems.
Not to be that guy, but we watched yesterday on Jesse Kozlowski's YouTube channel. He had a video by another YouTube channel called Minute Physics, and they went into like a 7-8 minute explanation of exactly how complicated it is to deal with the surface of water. So when you're asking your volume question, it sounds like it's just taken as it doesn't matter where you put the swimming pool. Like no matter where you put it, as long as you have the horizontal base with vertical walls, there's gonna be a cap according to them. But according to minute physics, you can't assume that. You may have a divot in the water, depending on where you put the pool. It's very complicated, apparently. I'm not sure the Blue Marble scientists have, paid attention.
Well, that one was particularly, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was over the top, wasn't it?
No way. I've not seen that one. I have to see that one. I want to
Ah.
hear the thinking behind that. You don't have to post it here. You can like DM it to me or whatever.
It's on
but
Jessica's. Go to Jesse Kozlowski's YouTube
No
channel.
way.
He's a surveyor. Yeah, it's one of his very early videos that he went over. Yeah.
A divot in the middle of a swimming pool.
Well, in the middle of the ocean, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And then it pulls up about mountains as well.
See, I want to know this as a former NCAA Division I athlete and swimmer. I want to know why the two fastest lanes in every pool are the center lanes. Isn't that the hump that they're supposed to be swimming over? I mean, I would think I'd want to be out in lane 8. You would think lane 1 and lane 8 would be
yeah. Well, I mean, you may have to go like it is downhill. You get more downhill, don't you, afterwards?
Ah, so when you're fresh, you're swimming uphill, and then you get that you
go
downhill,
underwater, don't you? You do the bit underwater for the first bit, and then
the seacat.
Once you pass the hump, it's downhill. That's why the two middle lanes are quicker.
Oh my God!
Yeah, check this out as
I
well.
never thought of that. That is hilarious. I got the test though, man. I've got it worked out. A new little test that I could even do, probably. But you want to hear it? Anybody?
Go on, you've got a test.
Okay, so here it is. So I've ran this past a couple blue marble scientists, and they, in their world, okay, I'll just run it. I'll just give you the quick version. Okay, when I'm surveying, when I went down the coast, okay, they said George Numchucks, God rest his soul, said that each time I did my back shots, basically I was changing angles so slightly, but it was accumulative. So he said I was surveying what I thought was a horizontal line. He said was curving around the globe. So I thought of the idea to they when I go. So let's say I set my story pull up 100 feet out in front of me. I shoot, and then my next shot, instead of skipping that 100 feet stake and doing a back shot to it or story pole, I set up right next to it. And I could do it both ways. I could do back shots and keep doing back shots 100 feet and then 100 feet forward. So one back, one forward. And in their world, I'm curving because the back shot's going to be a little bit lower. Each time when I do my back shot, it's going to be a smidge lower. It's going to reflect that to in front of me. So if I do two of them, so instead of doing back shots, I just set up right next to the story pole and I shoot that, so I won't be getting that drop, that tiny accumulative drop. And they said over the point of a mile or two, a couple miles, that I'll get a horizontal line, so it'll start raising up off the ground if I don't do the back shot. I strongly disagree with that. In my world and in reality, I could do the back shot, side shots, whatever shot. It's going to lay out a horizontal plane. In their world, like I said, it's making a slow curve. What do you think?
You're just doing a 2 peg test.
Well, I'm gonna string out a line. I'm gonna try and find like a lake or some body of water to do it next to with a couple mile stretch. Like it'd be perfect if I was near a canal. Like I'm jealous of your location just for that. But let's say I have a canal right next to me, and in their world, if I don't do the back shots, if I just set up right next to each shot, and then project it 100 feet forward and just keep going alongside the canal, they claim that I'm going to wind up above, like in 2 miles, I'll be 32 inches above the initial starting point, above the canal. So if I'm like 3 foot above the canal where I start, I'll be like 3 foot plus 32 inches if I don't do the back shot. If I just shoot the story pole, like, you know what I'm saying, like right next to me, just a few feet, instead of doing back shots. Now,
I don't think they do, no.
No, I know they don't, but they think they do.
I don't think they think they do. They don't think that they do.
Yeah, they do. They have to.
No.
And I've already got a couple of them to Ruiff, Jesse Gordon. Who else?
They just want you to go and do the test, Brian, because then they'll say that you didn't find it, and therefore you didn't find what you were looking for, because you were a flat earther that was looking for the drop of the water level.
Listen to me. That's why I want to put it out there and talk about it, because I'm not going to do a test until it's pre-agreed. That's why we discussed these tests over there, and because until we agree on something that's going to give us a different result in each world, in a level world or a curved world, I'm not going to waste my time doing it, because I've already went down the coastline, and that was for nothing. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. So I'll need to run this by as many of them as possible. But in their world, it's the back shot that's making the curve, basically. So in other words, if I'm set up and I move 100 foot forward and then I shoot back to my initial location, in their world, it's just a tiny bit lower. That 100 feet is a smidge lower. So then when I project that out forward, they say the center point where I'm at, where my auto level set up, is a little bit lower than the two ends. You know what I'm saying? When you do it like that, they say that it's like a chord, if you will, a teeny tiny chord. And so it's the back shots that's their excuse for why my line wasn't horizontal. That in my world, of course it's horizontal. It's a freaking auto level, and we can make basically a plane out of spots, with stakes. We can make a fictitious plane, but in their world, it's I don't know what do you have a word for that? Like a curving plane? Like not bendizonal. That
No, there's no
line.
such thing, Brian. It's a figment
Yeah, I
of
know.
people's imaginations.
Right, which is why I thought y'all might have a term for it, like bendizonal, if you will, or something like that.
No, that's called an oxymoron.
Yeah.
If there's any Globers in the chat, I want y'all to think about that for a second and give me a response. Like, so if I didn't do back shots, if I just shot right next and kept projecting out the same elevation, just forward instead of doing back shots, will I be laying out a horizontal line? Will it gradually higher than the canal? I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but in my mind, it's working. You know,
It's really hard to explain, Brian. It's really hard to explain because it's impossible. Can't even imagine it.
In my world, I'm going to get the same results whether I do 50-foot back shots, 100-foot back shots, or 2-foot back shots. But that's not the case in their world. It's hard to think. You know, I put myself in their shoes to try and think of these tests and a way to distinguish, because they've got excuses of why it would be. You know, everything is level in the real world, but in their world, it's they got an excuse for why everything is bending and why we measure it level. But then they just say level's curved. It's ridiculous. So I thought of this test, and so far I've got you know, a couple of them to agree. So far, the few people I've ran it by have agreed that I will get a different result. And I know in my heart and by trade and by experience that I will not get a different result. I mean, that I will get the same result. I'll get the same, no matter how far my back shots are within the working range of the instrument anyway.
Well,
I need to draw that out.
Jesse does it anyway. Jesse uses all of the auto levels. He uses all of them tools. He's already done all of the tests. Have you looked at it on Jesse's channel?
Yeah, I watched your show the other day. That was a really, really good show, man, by the way. And yeah, looking into that. It is confusing. I'm so glad you pointed that out, because about the survey, how they show the spherical excess, how they show the old surveys and how they have the triangles, and they try to sneak it in like that's a vertical datum, when them triangles are all laid flat, basically, you know,
careful,
you know, mimicking triangles on the ground horizontally, right?
Just triangles,
Like,
three coplanar points, and all of the triangle points are on the same plane. It's that's how it is. That's how they do it. They can't fit them in otherwise. There's only triangles that you can do that with. That's why they use triangles. I've got a short little clip here. Everybody on the looking at the thing. It's only a 1 minute clip. Here we go. Check this out. Everybody here, see this? Tell me what you think.
Yeah, they try to sneak it in.
I'll play this.
Yeah,
Let's see what you think of this. See what if Kevin's here, particularly. Watch.
I don't know if that's going.
It is.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Floor fraction.
It's funny, isn't it?
Oh my god. Oh, let me take a picture of this, dude.
Look at the camera. It's a picture. That's his. That's one picture out of 160. He's acting like.
Takes more pictures and record it.
He's acting. See, he ain't recording that.
I think I overreacted.
Did anybody else catch that?
Reaction.
I don't know. My heart started fluttering when I saw that.
Oh, dude, that is so
That
cool.
is amazing.
Walter Bislin.
Walter
You
Bislin.
drew it right.
Yeah, I was about to say, Walter, this is for you. Whenever we release this, I'm saving this one. We're not releasing this one for a while.
Walter, he drew it right.
Good catch, bro. What a lion, bro! I can't believe they're deceiving like that. He's acting like he's looking through that telescope or whatever that is. And if you look at the camera, I have one just like it. He's literally showing a picture. He put a picture up there, You can see where it says like 11 out of 160 or 1 out of 160. That means he's in display mode. He's not even looking through that camera. He's looking at a picture that's on that camera. What a sneaky snake, bro. Good catch, bro. Good catch.
Well, the big catch was the fact that he said Walter Bislin drew it right.
And he got the visual. That's the takeaway here. Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, bro, that's a bigger catch. He's acting like they're acting like they're in the hotel looking through the telescope or the instrument, whatever that is, and freaking and seeing that. That's actually a picture in his camera. That's not what he's seeing there on the spot through that telescope. That's slick.
It must be
is
cold
what that
in
is.
there. It must be cold in that hotel room. Because Soundly's wearing a jumper. You can't open the windows, can you?
In other words, check this out. I can take a picture in my P1000 of the moon or something, and it'd be a big full moon, and then I could show you my camera pointed up with the picture on screen, but I'm not really looking at the moon. I'm looking at an old picture I took. They're acting like you know what I'm saying? But go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, that's a double pane window on top of that, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get this. These so you can see is this oh, let me just move it. There you go. So you can
also, it's number one on there. It's also number one on his camera. So he obviously just did it. He just put that picture in his scroll, like he might have took a picture from the phone with his camera or something like that, or either imported it, and he just did it, and then puts it on there like that's what they're looking at in the distance. That's so deceiving, bro.
Says, first time releasing this short video clip from my reaction to seeing the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway Bridge through Soundly's telescope with his camera attached, looking out the 15th floor window of my room at Marriott Hotel. This was after a very long day spent making surveying measurements on both sides of the lake, and also driving the Causeway Bridge, logging raw data from the GPS GLS data mounted on the car. He did say Walter drew it right.
What a snake, though, man.
I think Walter was meant to be doing it afterwards, wasn't he? From the data.
That's a compressed image, bro. That's a compressed image, man. You see the hump where the cars drive over, where the boats go under? Look at that. That's that compressed image that Soundly constructed. And he's acting like he's filming that live, bro. What a snake.
Says by now, nearly 5 years later, many people have seen Soundly's photo of this bridge, capturing a visual display of Earth's curvature. Not.
What did I say?
Are used to seeing it or accustomed to seeing it. This video clip records my surprise and amazement at seeing something for the very first time that I wasn't expecting to see. He was laughing like a little girl.
That was all set up. That was a scene that they literally constructed. I wish I could share my screen, bro. I'd show you my camera. How when you look at the bottom corner when it says 10160, that means that's that means that's the last picture I took, and 160 would be the first picture I took a long time ago, 160 pictures ago. So I could scroll through it and go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, we know, and that's how we know how many composite pictures it was, how many frames he used, because he did that. We do know that.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily 160 composited, but that's how many pictures are in that are in his camera at the time on his card.
It's a composite. He knows. He's told us.
Oh yeah,
that
I agree.
Picture that he comes out with at the end is a composite image of all of those that he compiles together. That was just one of them.
Can you go back and can you show that? Can you show that one more time?
The picture.
Yeah, them with the looking at the screen, like that's what the camera's seeing right then and there.
there you go. Yeah, that one. 17 seconds in. 1 of 160.
You see down at the bottom where it says 1 out of 160?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that's part of his collection of pictures.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all.
like I begin saying, I've not watched any telly for fucking ages. But what I see when I see here, I see acting. Let's see this.
It is.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Floor fraction.
Oh my god.
Oh, let me take a picture of this too.
Let me take a picture of it. It is a picture. It's already there on your camera. Get him to send it, yeah.
Exactly, bro. That is hilarious. I was gonna make a meme like and say like the Ballers P1000, and I was gonna how it zooms out. The lens is telescopic, so when you zoom in, it zooms out a good bit. And I was gonna like make it curve, like put a piece of aluminum on it and bend it down. And I was gonna show. I was gonna take a picture, have somebody take a picture of me and my wife looking through a camera and seeing and seeing our backsides basically. So in other words, you look at the screen and we're looking at our own backsides through the lens. So I was going to have the picture on display. I was going to use that same trick they just did by just taking a previous picture of our backsides, looking through a camera with a bendy ass lens, and post it as a meme and say like a Glober P1000, show with the big curvy lens, seeing our own asses through it. And that's the same trick they use.
Yeah, well, everybody's seen that picture now, right? Jesse's right. I mean, that video, he only posted that 8 months ago. That one particular video. So he waited for near 5 years to post that little video.
To show how he fooled Globers.
Yeah. Laughing at them. Laughing at everyone. It's a complete setup. Everyone should be able to see it, but I don't think people can see it, to be honest.
I just pulled my camera out, so I'm gonna make sure that that's where where it comes out at. If I'm looking at my old pictures, I'll tell you for sure in just a second.
Well, it's nice anyway, isn't it, that he had his telescope there looking out of the hotel. And I think that's all sound that he did. Put a camera on a telescope in a hotel room. I mean, genius.
It's nice to see that, to see where it all started. Like it's, yeah.
And it definitely is. It's in the, here it is in the bottom left corner. I'd show you I would, but I got 1106 in the bottom left corner, 1107, 1108, 1109. And then if I put it on the other mode, it'll say like out of how many. Yep, that's confirmed. I'm gonna make a little video out of this, man. I can't believe that, bro. That's blatant.
And don't forget the bit about Walter's picture matched it. Unless Walter did a picture beforehand that soundly went to go and do that. And then Jesse drove over the bridge and then gave him the data to make the picture. Or perhaps Walter Bislin had already made it. Perhaps they already had a model ready-made. And they needed somebody to set up a thing about it. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe Jesse driving over it was the setup for Walter Bislin's model. And what was Walter Bislin's model? It was the one he was taking from Mick West. The curve calculator, the level curve calculator. How many people started typing in the level curve calculator, not realizing that it was a level curve calculator? Team Blue Marble Science. bullshitting.
Yeah, that bridge has given us like a lot of entertainment. Shout out the boys. Like, thank you very much for this. This is a present.
90
Mine
foot
says
pump.
mine says 1 out of 80. So he must have a bigger card than mine. Mine has 1 out of 80. Then it's memory. That 1/160. That's his basically memory, I guess. So it's a previously taken picture. He probably took it right off the screen of his computer.
We've got another name change. If anybody's curious, Stark Odder's changed his name. I'm guessing Stark Odder started getting a really bad name, so he had to change it. He can't be seen as being on the screen all of the time. So that's the text of reason. That is Stark Odder. And Stark Odder is one of the superheroes of the Blue Marble scientific community. He likes to keep a check on everything we post. I think he's been assigned to us. He's always in here. He must be learning loads. And he keeps shit stirring. He keeps taking stuff over to Blue Marble Science and saying, "Look what they posted over there on the Level channel." That's Stark Odder. They're dead grown up over there at the Blue Marble Science things. Has anybody seen Rumpus after the 5 laws of globe, so we can confirm that a horizontal does change in elevation? Because I'm not too sure. I always thought that there was 0 slope to a horizontal plane, but these guys seem to have a horizontal changing elevation, so that would put a rise over run on it, which would make it not horizontal, make it a hypotenuse. I don't think horizontals can be hypotenuse to the right angle triangle involving themselves. But I mean, who am I to know? This is modern day science that we're dealing with. There's too many contradictions, really. I can't do globe. But hey, axiom 1, 'tis globe.
'Tis globe. The only problem is there's paradoxes everywhere. Mike just got one today with the swimming pool. They're all over. All you got to do is look.
You've got to accept them. You've got to accept them.
Yeah,
In fact, they are the proofs of the globe. Right? The fact that there are paradoxes and contradictions prove the globe.
Paradoxical proofs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds globish. Yeah.
It is. It's one of the core tenets of Globgic.
Yeah. Yeah. This globe.
Mm-hmm. That's where the all evidence is evidence of the monad, or your particular monad, comes from.
All roads lead to globe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one core axiom.
The main tenet.
Yeah.
It's like the one law where you must abide. Like if you want to join one of these groups, right? They ask you, you have to believe in a God, right? You have to believe in a religion, right? Or you can't join. Like if you're an atheist, you can't join these certain groups, right?
It is globe. I mean, they could get away with that, couldn't they?
Yeah. If you don't agree with that, you can't join the club.
Yeah, they could. They could if they were struggling. They could. I think Beddy's did this for him, helped him. They could religify the science. They religify the model, and then, because that's what Beddy's sort of letting him in for, right? I think actually that's what he might be doing. He might be buttering him up for the Flat Earth Society, right? And I think in order for them to get fully enrolled up to, I don't know what they get, up to 33, they may need to be able to at least allow themselves to religify the globe for that very reason. And that's hard for atheists, isn't it? To take on knowingly take on a religion. I mean, they can...
Or they
Well, they
are
think
not.
of them as laws, as
Maybe they are
they don't
not
think of them as
atheists.
religious tenets. So that makes it easier for them. So first law, first axiom, 'tis globe.
Second axiom is also 'tis globe. Because if you double it up, then it adds more truth. I think we knew that. If 'tis globe and 'tis globe, then 'tis globe.
No, but you broke the first tenet right there. Your first word that you spoke.
If.
That's right. that you'd be busted right away. They'd know you were an imposter right there.
Yeah, too much logic in there, right? Can't
No,
have that.
You should have started 'tis globe, then continue.
'Tis globe and 'tis globe. Therefore, 'tis globe.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. You would fit right in. You wouldn't sound suspicious at all.
Saragaki's just getting used to it. He can't. Darren can't answer the direct question, so he needs somebody else to come and answer the question for him. And that's what they're all queuing up for now. Who's going to answer the question for Darren? Because Darren's a sophist. He's practicing sophist. He doesn't know anything. So he needs to be taught how to answer certain questions that he gets asked without answering them.
I imagine Stark Other has screenshotted my question and taken it over to Blue headquarters, and now they're all discussing how to send Darren back here with an answer.
Yeah, I've got a new guy in already.
Oh, within reach.
Yeah, they've decided
no,
Darren's not going to answer your question. They're going to send within reach in to come and get the question off you.
Yeah, no, I'll take Darren only.
It started with Darren, so...
Yeah, I gotta go full circle. That's what they like, that kind of thing.
Has Blue Marble gone live? Or is that for Bob? I might as well mention that Bob, the science guy, he's back. He's streaming tonight. He's doing some... I think he's looking for mobile phones or something. But yeah, he's back. He's going to do a live stream later on tonight. So welcome back, Bob. Research flat moon. I think that he might be researching his flat moon again.
He's back on Discord, or everyone's still banned?
Oh, we can't get in. Yeah, he did. He put it out there for everybody, anyone to come over, and yeah, we're still banned. We're not part of the anyone that we're not allowed to go over and see what he's doing. You might be, Essie. You're quite. He put it in Geos when he was doing it.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a new mobile phone? You're any good at mobile phones? I think that's what he's after.
Why the heck would we want to discuss mobile phones?
Oh, I think he said he was going over him something to do with Galaxy.
He's going to do a Galaxy phone review? I mean,
I think so,
I don't
yeah.
get it. Oh, wow. Sounds riveting.
But he's back. That's a good thing.
You mean a phone called Galaxy or a real Galaxy?
Oh, look, there you go. Mobius is one. It's done a lot of measurements of the Earth, all very well documented. But hey, they go against flat Earth narrative. So let the abusive comments start. See, he's asking for abusive comments. I don't know why, but probably so he can cry about abusive comments. Because that's what they do, people like Bob. He's going to go and live stream in Telescope tonight about 8 p.m. on Discord.
Oh, he's going to be looking at galaxies.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
not the phone. Yeah.
Oh, did I get it mixed up? I thought he was looking for new phones. Not going with the iPhone.
No, he's got a nice shiny telescope, and he's going to be looking at galaxies.
Yeah.
Okay. Good on you, Bob.
Yep. See that invalid invite? This user is banned. That's Bob. Yeah, Bob bans a load of people. And then asks for people to send him abusive comments. It's good, isn't it? I would advise against sending Bob any abusive comments. He'll report you. He'll report you for them. He asks so he can report you and say that he's got loads of abusive comments. Well, that's Bob. We can't join it anyway, Cat. Remember when we used to have those watch streams and partying? When he used to cut his thumb and do all sorts of stuff like that when he was doing his little models. That was good when Bob was live streaming. Back when he was Dr. Bob. Seems to have lost that doctor bit now. Yeah, yeah.
I must say that it's not good to laugh at somebody cut himself, but it's not like he killed himself. Ooh. He just nicked his finger. It was funny.
Scalpel work isn't
scalpel screwdriver.
Yeah. Not up to standard. So yes, if anybody wants to watch Bob looking through his telescope, then you know where to go to. I don't know which one of his channels he's got. He's going to be going on. I don't know whether to go over any more of the surveyors ones. It'd be unfair, wouldn't it? Seeing as Blue Marble's going to be making a YouTube video about level and horizontal. He's doing the video that Jesse Kozlowski couldn't. Titled to me, I think, or maybe just everybody. I hope it's going to be for everybody. The Helm's asking people to go and meet up with Blue. Is Blue doing telescope meetups? Weather Helm's booking them if you want to get anybody wants to get in with a meetup with Blue. Telescope meetups. Weather Helm's taking them in the live chat right now. Was Blue in the chat earlier? I did miss that. I was going over a video. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, I can't see that. Must have gone too long. Well, oh dear, Mr. Blue Marble. It's really, I'm after talking about the guy who's laying out the dogma for the Blue Marble science team, because I'm not too sure he's doing it right. I want to make sure that he's not leading the Blue Marble scientists into some sort of a trap by giving them 2 tangent points to LIGO. I think he's pulled Blue Marble and Rumpus into a bit of a, I don't know, might have ended up backing him into a corner. FE Dogma. But I mean, it's only Blue Marble Science, isn't it? I mean, he's got a name. If Blue Marble Science can't get out of a corner that FE Dogma's put him in, I don't know who else could. He's got a full name of Blue Marble Science to...
This task can overwhelm them. So this is a dangerous position.
Yeah. And FE Dogmas, it has been a while since he's come and had a chat. I've been asking to talk to him for quite a while. And he's not bothered talking. So he's leaving Blue Marble Science to make videos about it. Which I would say gives FE Dogma, the guy that obviously laying down the dogma for Blue Marble Science, it puts him as a higher rank. I would definitely give him as a higher rank than Blue Marble Science, seeing as he doesn't really do anything talking wise. It must be hard for the Blue Marble scientists not being able to talk to anybody about this sort of stuff. Was there anything else anybody wanted to go over? I don't want to be waffling on. It's getting boring, isn't it? We did say free for all Fridays gets a bit tricky because no, people don't really want to talk that much about stuff. And if there's nothing for anybody to go over, I think we'll end it. That sounds good for me. All right for everybody else. We'll go into
yeah, nobody wants to come in. They had ample opportunity. But, yeah.
If anybody wants to come into the Discord, this is where it starts getting good now, because the people that don't want to talk on the live stream all start talking afterwards. And normally the better stuff gets talked about afterwards anyway, so this is when it gets good. Let me get Buster Song. I don't know where all of these ones have gone. Triangles, maybe a long one. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I may have to do this up again. Yeah, be at peace with your monad, whatever shape it may be. See you again Monday, unless we go live at the weekend.
You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Right, so you've managed to confuse a lot of people within that argument. Weird times, buddy. Because like you weren't trying to say that all horizontals are not parallel because you can draw a cross on a piece of paper.
I was temporarily agreeing.
That wasn't the argument.
For fuck's sake.
Because some people have took it as though that is.
I'm sorry. A separate discussion. Happy to talk about that one day. What I originally suggested, and Mike knows this, Mike Jones. Yeah. We agreed we'd sort of discuss the postulate first. You call it the triangle last time.
I do, yeah.
I discussed the swimming pool. Thank you, Mike. Question.
Weird times, Betty.
Don't understand. Be quiet. Swimming pool. Thank you, Mike. Question. You don't understand. For fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike. It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. Thank you, Mike. You just on your own. Well, that I hold to be a self-evident. You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah. Because it's got just about a triangle, yeah.
The question is, why did include that axiom? You call it the triangle axiom. That postulate.
I do, yeah.
Axiom. Why did you include that at all? You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, because it sort of shows that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Or the sum of two right angles.
You know? So you're saying how does it show? Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can prove that, but why did he include that? You call it the triangle axiom. If you can...
Oh, you can prove it?
Be quiet. If you can prove that triangles have... You call it the triangle. The sum of the angles is two right angles. Why would you need... For fuck's sake. I'm sorry, that's my question. You call it the triangle axiom. You don't understand. You call it the triangle axiom. You don't understand. I was temporarily agreeing. Be quiet. It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You know? You're just on your own. For fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Horizontal lines can easily not be. Just as I suggested, you just sort of get a horizontal line. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. You put two crossing lines on them, and by definition, any two lines, straight lines on a horizontal plane, are themselves horizontal. You mind? So that's the problem. You can't. Well, it's not really a problem. Yeah,
it's not a problem because there's only three straight lines. How fucking difficult can it be?
Point again is that you cannot prove it. A lot of people, you call it the triangle axiom. Millennia thought you could prove the fifth postulate. You call it the triangle axiom. The question is, do we need the enclosure axiom? Yeah, not on the globe hypothesis. I received opinions we don't need it because postulate 1 do the job for you. And look, Bev, I simply wanted to ask you why you think the postulate's there, and you have explained that. And you have explained that. Not on the globe hypothesis. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. I'm sorry. It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. Be quiet. You just on your own. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm sure there are better people back at the other place, the blue place, who can prove this. And we're happy to talk to you. No logic, no wisdom, no worries. And you have explained that. You're just on your own. You know. Logic, no answers to questions. And you have explained that. You're just on your own. Right? That I hold to be a self-evident truth.
It's a self-evident truth of reality that all triangles, in reality, have 180 or the sum of two right angles.
Be quiet. Not on the globe. Well, it's an assumption. For fuck's sake.
It's not an assumption, is it?
Sorry. For Euclid, it was an assumption because he knew he couldn't prove it. There was a huge debate which went on for centuries. You call it the triangle axiom.
What, that he couldn't prove that triangles have 180 degrees?
They thought, there was a question, is the fifth postulate. You call it the triangle axiom. Triangle axiom. Is it self-evident or not? A huge debate.
Weird times, Buddy. Weird times, Buddy. You've brought an argument into a group of people that aren't ready for it.
Be quiet. You cannot. Euclidean geometry. You call it the triangle axiom. It does not follow. It doesn't work. But not on the globe. I don't need it as an assumption because we can prove it. You can prove it from the first postulate. For fuck's sake. Horizontal lines can easily not be. You can just, as I suggested, you just sort of get a horizontal plane. Right? Thank you, Mike. You put two crossing lines on them, and by definition, any two lines, straight lines on a horizontal plane, are themselves horizontal. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry. You don't understand. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. For fuck's sake. You don't understand. if you could prove it, it wouldn't be a postulate,
It's
would it?
not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah, because he's got just about a triangle,
So,
yeah.
the question is, why did Euclid include that axiom? You call it the triangle. That's postulate or axiom. Why did he include that at all? Thank you, Mike.
Because it sort of shows that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Or the sum of two right angles.
But not on the globe. So
82
you're saying, for fuck's sake, how does it show? Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can prove that, but why did he include that? Be quiet. If you can.
Oh, you can prove it.
You call it the triangle axiom. If you can prove that triangles have the sum of the angles is two right angles, why would you need postulate? That's my question. I will not verbally disagree with it. What goes on in my own head is my own business. I do not believe that. Be quiet.
You don't understand.
You call it the triangle axiom. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
Yourself, don't tell me to be quiet.
You have a horizontal plane, and any straight line drawn on the globe must itself be horizontal. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. Yeah, not on the globe hypothesis. I was temporarily agreeing.
Right, so you've managed to confuse a lot of people within that argument.
I was temporarily agreeing.
Because like you weren't trying to say that all horizontals are not parallel because you can draw
not on the
a cross
globe.
on a piece of paper, are you?
Thank you, Mike.
That wasn't the argument.
Not on the globe.
Because some people have took it as though that is.
For fuck's sake. Separate discussion. Happy to talk about that one day.
Yourself, don't tell me to be quiet.
Point again is that you cannot prove it. A lot of people, you call it the triangle axiom. Centuries, millennia, thought you could prove the fifth postulate. You call it the triangle axiom from the preceding thought. Be quiet. I was temporarily agreeing. Not on the globe. You call it the triangle axiom. Not on the globe.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Be quiet.
Just on your own.
That I hold to be a self-evident truth. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
No reason, no logic, no wisdom, no worries.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
Not on the globe, you know.
No reason, no logic, no answers to question.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
Betty, do you believe the water surface is a horizontal plane of reference?
It's a horizontal plane, possibly, but not on the globe. Let's assume.
Thank you.
The surface of either swimming pool, a horizontal establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right? Let's assume.
Thank you.
The surface of either swimming pool establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right? It's not really a problem. Yeah,
It's not a problem because there's only 3 straight lines. How fucking difficult can it be?